Hey guys, it's Jay. Today is, I don't even know what day, honestly. Today is Monday, July something. Um, shh. I am going to tell you guys how I ended up in the hospital last week. I've been home for about 3 days now, 4 days. Just trying to like recuperate and trying to relax and just trying to really shush, trying to really like get it together before I go back to work. Um, so let me start with I'm gonna start with my story. My boyfriend is gonna tell his story on my other channel, JJ Says. So check that out in the next couple of days. He's gonna have his whole heart attack story up there. Long story short, he had a heart attack on Friday, the 8th. Sunday, the 10th, or no, 8th, 9th, 10th, Sunday the 10th. Can you please be quiet? Sunday the 10th, I I left the hospital. I went to the market to get like heart healthy foods. Um, Came home. It's probably about 8 o'clock. I called him and I said, I'm going to go to sleep early. I'll see you tomorrow. And I had a bit of a backache because I spent 3 days, like, literally sleeping upright in a hospital chair with him, just making sure everything was okay. So, I'm not feeling too good, so I took one Motrin. No, I got it. And, okay, I took one Motrin and I went to sleep after I talked to him and told him I was going to go to sleep early because I just wasn't feeling good. I wanted to get a fresh start because you guys know Monday I work got to get up for work at 4:30 in the morning. So I'm like, I have to get to bed early. It's been a long weekend. I'm just going to go to sleep. I probably went to sleep around 8:30. And before I went to sleep, let me back up a little bit. I had dinner. I drank like a bottle of water um, around 7, and then I went to sleep around 8:30. So I woke up out of my sleep and it's still dark outside. I look at my phone, it's 10:30. I feel like there's something like stuck in my throat. I felt like maybe I had eaten too quickly and the food was still like stuck at the top of the pouch and hadn't gone down, so I needed to vomit it up. But I also felt like I had to go to the bathroom, like I had to pee, you know. So I get up out of bed and I feel this like it's definitely a urgent feeling. Like I feel like if I don't get to the toilet, I'm gonna poop my pants or vomit all over the place. So I get up, I go to the bathroom, I sit on the toilet. After like 3 seconds, I had this overwhelming urge to vomit. So I get up, I turn around, I throw up, and literally everything in the toilet was blood. There was no food. There was bright red blood and nothing but like blood and blood clots. And it was like, it had to be a cup, 2 cups of blood. I threw up real quick. I just like basically vomited and I looked down and I was like in shock. So then I started feeling lightheaded and I called my boyfriend. I'm like, I'm feeling lightheaded. I just vomited blood. I don't know what's happening. I had no pain though. I had no pain at all. None. Like I didn't feel my stomach wasn't hurting, my throat wasn't hurting. My head, I had a bit of a headache, but I think it was because I was losing so much blood that I just felt really nauseous and I felt really lightheaded and my head, I had a headache. So I called him. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to go to the hospital. And, the whole time I'm thinking, why did I call him? Because obviously he can't do anything. He's in the hospital himself. So after I got off the phone with him, I called my sister because I knew she would be at work. I'm like, I'm vomiting blood. I'm on my way to the hospital. I just wanted to make sure somebody knew where I was going, just in case anything happened on the road. The hospital was only about 5 minutes away from us, so I got dressed as quickly as I could. I got to the car. I drove to the hospital. The whole time I'm driving to the hospital, I feel like I have to throw up, and I also feel like I'm about to pass out at any second. So I get to the hospital after talking to my sister. She's like, all right, I'm on my way. I called my mom several times, but she was asleep or I don't know what was going on. But she also had Liam this whole time. She had Liam since Friday when he had the heart attack. So I'm like, maybe she's asleep, maybe her phone's downstairs, maybe her phone's off. I have no clue what's going on. So I get to the parking lot. I come downstairs. I go to the emergency room. They're like, do you need to be admitted or are you coming to visit somebody? I'm like, no, I need to be admitted. So I go sit down there, like, just sit down and a nurse will do triage or will come and admit you, or not admit you, but will check you in. So just wait to hear your name. I'm sitting in a waiting room, and the whole time I'm feeling like I'm going to pass out. I just feel weak, like I couldn't really keep my eyes open. My head was throbbing so bad, and I could feel the blood like building up in my chest. I don't. It sounds so weird, but I could like feel it building up. And then the same thing happened when I woke up. I like felt it, and as soon as I sat down on the toilet, I just had that overwhelming urge to vomit. So this was the same thing that was happening. I was sitting down, I was feeling it like build up, build up, build up, build up. And as soon as I got into the room where the lady is checking me in, she's asking me, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up again. You know, my head is pounding. I feel really lightheaded. I just threw up in my towel. It was all blood. She took my blood pressure and she said, you're not gonna pass out. Your blood pressure is low, but it's okay. I'm like, all right, well, I really need a bag right now because I feel like I'm gonna throw up all over you. She gave me this emesis bag, a blue one, and I vomited in it, and I filled up half the bag with blood. And then she called the nurse and told them to take me back to the red zone of the emergency room for emergency triage. And she got me a wheelchair, and they wheeled me out, and I'm carrying this bag of blood. So I get to the emergency room. They hooked me up, and they put me on protonics because they immediately, after taking my history with the gastric bypass, the fact that I took ibuprofen and all this stuff, they immediately put me on a protonics. It's like a protein drip or something like that. So it makes the acids in your stomach go down so that it won't bother the gastric ulcer or whatever bleeding you have going on. The acids in your stomach are reduced so it won't make it worse. So they put me on that, and I threw up about 3 more times in the emesis bag. I had about 4 of them. I threw up about 3 more times. They gave me 2 IVs, and I had to get a blood transfusion because I went to the doctor. I went to the doctor in April, and I'm slightly anemic since having gastric bypass surgery. So I went to the doctor in April, and my iron levels were pretty low. I think they were like a 10. I think they were like a 10. So she prescribed me iron 3 times a day. I was already taking iron once a day, but she prescribed me iron 3 times a day because she said I'm severely anemic. So I got to the hospital and they took my blood. They, took my blood and did some tests. My iron levels were down to 6.7. So I had lost almost half of the blood, like, in my body, pretty much. So I had a blood transfusion, and then a little bit later, I had 2 units of blood given to me while I was in the emergency room at about 2 a.m. on Monday. And then later, when I went to ICU, because I had no more active bleeding, they gave me, forgive me, I don't know what it's called. It starts with a Z, the same thing they give you for nausea when you're pregnant. They gave me that, and it kind of took away the feeling of like vomiting. So I had another blood transfusion when I was in ICU. I went to ICU at about 5 a.m. on Monday morning, and I was there for 2 days. I was there until Tuesday evening. On Monday afternoon, I got a endoscopy. So I was put to sleep with propofol, which I had never had before, and the only thing I kept thinking was Michael Jackson, I'm gonna die, and I was scared to death. So I got the propofol. They did the endoscopy, and they did find a gastric ulcer at the location where my new stomach was attached to my intestines when I had gastric bypass surgery. At that location, I believe it's called the anastomosis location. I don't know. At that location, I had a gastric ulcer. There was a blood vessel sticking straight up. The doctor said they were able to put a pin on it and also cauterize it to stop the bleeding. So after that, that was Monday. Tuesday, I had a liquid diet this whole time. Tuesday, I'm still in the ICU, and then Tuesday night they sent me to a regular room right after Lenny was discharged. So he was discharged, and then right after that, about an hour later, I got to go into a regular room, which was nice. In the regular room, on I don't know what floor I was on. I was doing regular foods. I'm sorry, liquid diet, because they didn't want me to have anything acidic. They didn't want me to have anything harsh going into my stomach and out through my intestines, because that's where the gastric ulcer was. They were scared that it would, open up again. Didn't know what would happen. So I'm on a liquid diet. I'm still in the protonic strip, and I still felt lightheaded. Like right now, I still feel a little lightheaded. I'm taking iron twice a day. I just feel, sometimes I get a headache, but it's normally at night. And I just feel like weak in general. If I stand up too quickly, I feel like I'm going to pass out. Just lightheaded. So I'm just trying to recuperate. Like I said, I was discharged on Thursday. I don't go back to work until this Friday. Coincidentally, the same day me and Lenny were supposed to be going to Atlanta to visit our friend. I had a whole trip planned this weekend, so I'm trying to get a refund for our plane tickets right now, which kind of sucks because they don't want to give it to me. But I'm on Protonics. I'm also on another medicine to reduce acids in my stomach. I just feel like weak, really. Just tired, like weak and tired. I can't believe I was in the hospital for 5 days, but I'm just like freaking exhausted. I don't want to go back to work. I think this experience, having me and Lenny have like literally near-death experiences, it was scary, but it allowed me to realize that I am kind of where I want to be as far as my career, but like stress contributed to my gastric ulcer. Ibuprofen contributed to my gastric ulcer. But then again, I'm taking ibuprofen because I have a headache, because I have a migraine, because I have back pain due to work and due to stress and due to the intensity of my job. And it just made me realize, like, maybe, it's not that important. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, you are, as far as your career goes, working toward where you want to be, but is it worth, like, killing yourself to do so, So, I'm just, like, really thinking about a lot of things and trying to figure out what I want to do, and just trying to recuperate, really. But I want to thank everybody who commented on the last video. Thank you for your well wishes. I'm going to get Lenny to do his story about his heart attack, because that was just crazy, on JJ Says. So if you haven't subscribed to either of these channels, subscribe to The Shrinking Beauty, subscribe to JJ Says, and I'll see you guys later. I'm going to go grocery shopping one day this week. I actually went grocery shopping before I went into the hospital that same day, but I just didn't feel up to doing a haul, and now I know why. But I'll see you guys soon in a video. I hope everybody is doing well, and take care. Bye.